What time is it really?
8:53.
Okay, thank you. I'm traveling us in, it was loud, at 8:53. I would like to take a small bit of liberty because we've been keeping some guests a very long time and it's way past their bedtime. So I'm going to put our entire agenda on hold. And we're going to allow our, oh, I guess I should call roll first. Sorry. So Terry Werner.
Here.
And Matthew McGovern.
Here.
And Mike McLeod.
Here.
Sam Houston Clinton.
Here.
And then I guess we'll do the pledge and then I'll put the rest of it on hold. Okay, so pledge of allegiance.
I explain, rest on hold, you're talking, I'm confused.
Just
So you-
go with us for 1 second. Bear with me. Again.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And the Texas flag, honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. All right, now I'm going to put it on hold. So we have some guests that have been here waiting, so we're going to have them go ahead and do their presentation for everybody, and then we'll go back and do public
Okay.
comments and continue the rest of the way in order. But they, right now, they appear as, blah, 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 3.10. Nomination and appointment of city attorney. The mayor will nominate a candidate for city attorney as per Texas Local Government Code 22.071. The council may vote to confirm the appointment and authorize contract execution if they choose to. So Javier is the one who is going to be presenting our candidates because he's the one who discovered them. And I believe council had a brief email about them introducing the idea earlier this week. So Javi, I'll just let you take it over.
So 2 weeks ago, I went to the city of Livonia. They have a city administrator that's like sort of in the same field as me, where she just like very rapidly just went through the city ranks. And she's an alumni from Texas State, so I was able to connect with her. We talked about the city, we talked about what I want to do and such, and she talked very highly of Rampage Law, or DN.
It's a lot of letters.
DNRBSZ law firm. She talked very highly of them. She said that practically anything that she wants to do or she's trying to do with this, or any application that she gets, she returns to them. They have a planning and zoning division, they have a tax division, they have an employment division, they have a land easement division as well, or is that included with planning and zoning?
We've got it all covered.
They have everything covered.
Public Information Act.
Oh, yeah, they do public information stuff as well for the city. The way I see this law firm being part of the city is that it's 5-6 minds working on a situation, and no offense to Kent. But instead of one mind looking at the city, we have 5 different minds looking and trying to help the city as well. I sent an email out to council members to stating I found this law firm, told them what I thought about this law firm. I also speak pretty highly about them, looking into them a little more.
Oh, and Turk.
Oh, yes. Our city engineers also have worked with this law firm as well in other cities. And speaking of other cities, they have a laundry list of different cities that they work for. Notably, they just got the city of Staples. And so it's just around the corner. So that's my
There you go.
presentation. So this is them.
So this is them.
Appreciate y'all giving us a few minutes. And with me tonight is Amanda Padilla. She is one of our principal planners out of our Austin office. Y'all have got a long night already and more to do. So you have all our information, but just a little bit about our firm. We were founded in 1987 by Lowell Denton, who had been previously the city attorney at College Station and city attorney San Antonio. We have over 20 lawyers in 4 locations across Texas.
Can I make it full screen? Or do you need it for?
Oh, there it
Oh,
is.
no,
Just-
I'll-
Okay, so
full screen.
Our firm's owned by 8 shareholders. You can do it?
Yeah.
Okay, you can do it.
Yeah. So that easier to read.
There we go. You can just keep doing that.
You can
You're
put
great. I'll talk you through it.
For everyone.
So these are the owners of the law firm. I'm Dan Santee, and there's 8 of us. There's 6 Class A shareholders and then 2 Class B shareholders. And then we have partners. We have 2 partners at the moment. Just scroll down, I think, the other way.
Alright.
Yeah, we'll roll through this really fast. And so but while you can just roll through it as whenever you want. I'm just gonna talk. So we only represent municipalities and other governmental entities, whether it's MUDs, counties, cities. We also do a bunch of TML litigation work. TML appoints our firm to defend cities when cities get sued. And so half of our firm focuses on litigation, the other half does general counsel work, which is what I do. My background, I was in the city of Abilene for 18 years. I was the city attorney up there, and then joined this law firm when I retired from the city of Abilene. Grew up in a small town, not unlike your town here, the town of Merkel, Texas. Does anybody know where Merkel is?
Yes.
All right, Merkel on Interstate 20, west of Abilene. I'm a West Texas kid. We had wonderful red brick streets. You don't see that everywhere else. And I still have half my family makes up half that town, I think. So that's our passion. That's why we do what we do. Lavernia is one of my clients that I personally handle outside the San Antonio area. Been working with them for the whole 10 years I've been with the firm. The thing about our clients, if you look at our client list, the majority of our clients are smaller communities or small and rural communities. And yet all of our attorneys came from much larger cities in-house. And so they're able to get, they're getting legal advice from the former city attorney of the city of San Antonio, even if it's a city of 200, or the city of Staples, which is about, well, a city of 200. And so they reached out to us recently. We came on board with them. When we heard about Lindsay sent me an email, right? And we reached out immediately because I was going to be over here, met with your mayor and your chief of police. So anyway, we're excited for the opportunity. And in talking with, and actually it was good to sit through the P&Z thing. And I told Amanda, I was like, hey, this is a good night for you to be here. Because one of the things Charlie Zeck and I did, Charlie Zeck runs the Austin office. I run the San Antonio office as far as general counsel. About 3 or 4 years ago, we decided we wanted to offer planning services to our clients, because what we see in most of our communities, especially smaller communities, is there's not the ability to have on staff planners, right? Just like you often don't have on staff attorneys. You have a great city attorney, but you have to contract with them to bring them in here. And so we thought, a lot of the questions that we have, a lot of the controversies, a lot of the big public hearings that happen have to do with land use. And so we decided to create, we checked all the rules to make sure we could do that as a law firm, found out we could, and we brought on staff certified planners. So we have 2. We have Amanda Padilla, who's here, works out of our Austin office, and then John James is in our San Antonio office, and then we have a planning technician as well. And really what I want to do is let Amanda make the council aware and the public aware of that aspect of our services, because our whole philosophy is when a question comes in the door, like I said, I have 20 attorneys to choose from. I have board certified litigators, I have board certified labor and employment, board certified real estate lawyers that I can fan out questions to. But the whole idea about a law firm like us is to push the work to the lowest billing point, if possible, right? And so if a planning issue comes or a land use issue comes in, 90% of a land use issue is not legal. It's planning, and it's engineering, and it's other things other than legal. I push it to our planners to work on, and then they kick it back to me just for the legal parts of it. And so it's more efficient. They're better at planning than I am, and they're not going to practice the law part. And so anytime you're dealing with a lot of the things y'all deal with, and they kind of going to go, if it's public information, my paralegal, Esmeralda Casares, does more public information act requests than probably anybody in the state. She processes in the neighborhood of 200 a month for our firm, for all of our clients. She knows public information. I oversee her work, but when that comes in, it's going to go to her, and she's going to know the answer 9.5 times out of 10 and just confirm the answer with me. And I'm going to check the briefing and everything before it goes out the door. But it's a way to make it more efficient, make it work quicker, and more financially feasible for cities to afford when you're dealing with us. You're seeing me and Amanda tonight, but you're going to work with attorneys from Harlingen, from Houston. That's where our other offices are. you know, it's whoever whoever is the best equipped to answer the question is who we're gonna send it to. So I'd like to let Amanda talk a little bit though about planning services.
I'm gonna speak a little bit slower. The attorneys like to speak fast, get you the answer, get out. As a planner, my job is to teach you all the best way to guide your city to the best development that you can achieve. And so these are some of the services that our planning division can offer. We could help you with general guidance. When I was looking at your SUP process and how you guys went about that, I sort of just want to talk a little bit about how we can help with that. So typically with some of the cities that we work with, we can help them with full service. So a city gets an application and they send it to us for an application completeness check. Or say an applicant wants to talk about what they can do in the city, we read through your ordinances, we hold those meetings with the applicants, we talk about what they can and cannot do. We process the application, we'll generate staff reports. These staff reports will have things like, what is this used? Why does it make sense for the city? What does the city ordinances allow? And we'll even provide recommendations. So for things like an SUP and a drive-through use, I heard a lot of the concerns. And with SUPs, you can provide conditions. And so we'll recommend certain conditions, like if the city doesn't like for things to stay open until midnight or 2 a.m., we could put conditions on the hours of operations. So we'll provide recommendations that suit the city. We can also do reviews of plans, site plans, preliminary plats, final plats. We can also do code amendments, and I'll get a little bit more into that. And then we can also do trainings for P&Z or city council or other boards and commissions that you have. And we can also provide any public engagement that you need help with. We work extensively with some cities where we just focus on doing code amendments. We worked on zoning amendments, subdivision, any sign, landscaping, tree preservation, and historical preservation amendments. We can also just do a diagnostic of your current codes and tell you what the practical planning, things you can change in your codes. And then we can also bring you up to state standard, especially with this new legislative session that just ended. There are bills that have been passed that cities are going to have to amend their codes. Like I said, we provide a review of subdivision and zoning applications. And these are just a assortment of the ones that we provide. And then I took a look at your website and I noticed that y'all got a grant for your Resilience Communities grant, which offers cities the chance to update their comprehensive plans. As planners, that is the biggest document that we work on. It's important for cities. It's what guides you. It's what tells the city where you'll be in 10, 20, 30 years from now. And you want to make sure that you're doing it right and that you've hired a firm that is going to do it right for you and meet what the community wants. And so we can help guide that. We can make sure that you're getting the public engagement that the city deserves. We can make sure that you're not just getting a generic plan that a company is copying and pasting from a different city, and we can review it based on city council, planning and zoning commission recommendation, and of course the citizens' recommendation. So those are some of the things we offer. There's plenty more that we offer, but I assume you'll probably be working with me the most out of the Austin office. I went to Texas State, I swam in the river, rode my bike out to Martindale before it was anything, it was out here. But so I'm happy to be back.
Yeah, so the only other thing I would add, and then we'll get out of your way, is that just for everyone's benefit, and I'm not sure what all the information you have, you only pay for the work we do, and we bill hourly. You have our rate structure in there, and so if you need us, call us. If you want us to come out here, we'll come out here. That's what you pay for. There's no retainer, there's no flat fee, there's no contract, there's an engagement letter. And so if you don't like us after a month, grab somebody else. It does, it's no big deal. Other than that, the only other thing I'd say is that when we talk about planning services and TPIs, things, that's how it comes on your bill as well, as it's broken out by area of practice. And you'll see all the work we did will be described there and how much time we spent on it, who did it and who they communicated with. We try to be very clear with that. We know that while we answer to the council, we work for these folks. It's their tax dollars that are paying for this. We're all very mindful of that. We're all taxpayers as well. And so we try to be very efficient with the work that we do. And we've got a long track record, a lot of clients, but you have a copy of those clients. You have contact information. Call any of them that you want to, and ask them questions. So, if you bring us on board, happy to get to work as soon as possible.
Do you guys have any questions?
Yeah, I got a statement, I mean, y'all sound great. You're very impressive, your whole department. But this is a very important decision for us to make.
Sure.
And for example, Robert, how much time did we spend getting the police chief? We had multiple applicants and we interviewed all, and same thing. I was involved with the police chief. I was involved with the city manager. And it was a long process. I was not involved with the lawyer selection. That was before I was elected. And there's a lot of time because, but Kent, you've been here, almost 8 years. So this is gonna be a long-term deal. I think personally that we need to have more of additional candidates to interview and review. If we're gonna do this contract, we really need to do it right and have multiple applicants. If anybody else wants to apply,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
That's great. I hear what you're saying, and I don't have any objection to that whatsoever. I do just want us to remember, we also have 3 eminent domain suits right now, and we also have, we're the defendant in a lawsuit, so we do need help now. And they don't have a contract where we're tied to them. We could just use their services for certain things and then continue the actual looking process, interview other attorneys, but we do need help now. But it doesn't mean we're not beholden to them, and it doesn't mean we have to keep using them for a very long time. They can serve, I did ask them that, and they can serve as an interim, until we finish looking. There's not a rush to hire somebody. I mean, there's not a rush to
Well,
hire
it
somebody
seems,
permanently
seems a little rushed. I mean, I understand the situation.
because of the
But
situation.
it seems like it's rush. I mean, we spent so much time, police chief, city
Right,
manager.
and we can continue that. I'm
And
not I'm not trying to cut that
So-
short.
So, so this would be like a month to month, or how would that work? Month?
We're just billing
Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes, you can speak, Keon.
Yeah, we still are.
So something, as city clerk, I do want to say that I need, and at the moment, something more than just TML attorney on the phone calls. I do need support now. I don't have the support now. There's a resignation in the middle at the moment. So like Mayor Fowler said, it's not that we're not disregarding the fact that yeah, this is rushed, but right now this is what works.
I personally consider it rushed.
Well,
I
couldn't
know-
we call it interim?
I mean, I'm just saying, it'd been nice to have other
And we can
people.
continue to do that. No one's saying that this means that we don't have other people.
Yeah, we're not afraid of competition.
That makes me feel. That makes me feel, we did spend a lot of time.
And it's fine. There's no problem with that. We just need to have somebody to work on specific items now, but they don't have a contract. They're fine with being interim. We can continue to nominate other people and have them come and talk to us. That's all fine. I don't have any problem with that.
Is your fee schedule on your
It's in the
paperwork
packet.
here?
Yes,
It's in the
it's in the
packet.
packet that you're handed.
But I mean, is it to where other people can see it here in the audience?
Yeah, I've got extra copies. You can pass them around. I'll leave them
Okay,
here.
well, for example, if you had an attorney sitting here at a city council meeting, what is the hourly charge of that, say?
Well, if it's me, it's whatever it says for shareholder. That's the hourly charge.
Shareholder,
Mhm.
shareholder, $250,
$250.
okay. And so
And
that seems very reasonable to me. That's, less than what we currently have been paying, probably close to half. So I find that quite reasonable and acceptable.
Yeah, and I'll say at some of our cities, if you request like an attorney at P and Z, they'll recommend that a planner comes and sit, because we have a lot more expertise on planning situations.
Well, I'm just looking at it says to nominate and appoint, didn't say about interim, just says to nominate.
We can modify.
Okay, we can.
I have no problem
Okay,
with that. I am giving you your way.
Would you mind if I ask a question? Yes. If the city were to sign an engagement letter, you know, is there a minimum length of time that engagement letter is for? Or they could hire
That's all I
you.
That's
In
right.
2 weeks, they could find somebody they like better, they can let you go, and then move on.
So, so the way that it would work under the structure that Dan's describing is the hiring and firing of all city officers, Javi, Deanna, myself, is governed by the local government code. And that is, all of those positions are appointed by the mayor and then confirmed by the council and can be relieved of their duties one of two ways, either by voluntary resignation or alternatively, a 2/3 vote of the governing body.
Also, it takes 2/3.
It takes a 2/3 vote of the governing body to remove someone from an office. So since the mayor can't vote, what it essentially takes is a 4/5 vote of the governing body under the local government code. Now, the caveat is what's being discussed tonight is the option to vote. And there's nothing, you think it's rushed, you think it's not rushed, it really doesn't matter. Placing this on the agenda and the mayor making the appointment is perfectly allowable. The council gets to decide what they want to do with that. If it is made interim, then what would need to be done is there would need to be very, very specific nomination made, and that is a nomination subject to a search, review, and appointment of a full-time city council, and you can put a duration on the appointment. Those are the things that would have to happen to make it interim.
And
But-
if there were duration, then it would end,
Correct.
and it
That's
would
right.
not require a full fifth vote.
Correct. That's right. And you
That
could,
sounds
So
good.
that's the way you can handle mice.
yeah, there's any number of ways to handle it.
Right, and it doesn't, in our world, it doesn't come to that, like, if the mayor says, hey, the council's going in a different direction, I mean, we have a couple other clients. We'll be okay, we'll just go on our way. It's good, so.
And my bad, like if you were to actually, looking for request for services and RFP, whatever y'all want to call it, that takes about a month, maybe a month and a half to actually sit down with them, read what's on the contract, and then as top of that, get it on council agenda for the council to approve. If we were to look at the request for services or RFP for the online permitting stuff, we sent that out. But it took like a month. We got everything back. Jared and I looked at them, and it took, I think, 2 city council meetings to get it on the city council agenda. So going back to the point of Deanna, where we somewhat desperately need a city attorney for the eminent domain situation going on, for the multiple eminent domain situation going on, for the cemetery lawsuit that's going on as well. So that's on the city admin side of stuff where it's somewhat coming in pretty heavily.
Yeah, when I sat down with the mayor, I mean, that's something I suggested to her that we've done elsewhere, is like, there is never a long-term commitment on something like this, and if you want us to come in and, you know, take us for a test drive for a month or two while you put together your RFP, and I mean, it's, you know, you're gonna get the benefit of our services, you're also gonna get to see kind of what those monthly bills might look like.
We get to a
Yeah,
test drive.
You get a test drive. Yeah, exactly. So, but it gives your staff support.
I have a question. In previous city councils, we had hired an eminent domain attorney.
I couldn't hear what you said.
The city council had hired an eminent domain attorney,
Mhm,
Betsy Johnson.
mhm.
Is she no longer with?
No, she is still with us, but she's had a few different questions and thought that it would be good to be able to coordinate with our council. I mean, our council, not our
Our-
council.
COUNSEL.
Yes, that one.
English language.
Okay, do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion to, appoint
Yeah.
DNRBSZ as interim city attorney until the September the 4th city council meeting. I'm correct, that's the first Thursday. Oh, help me there, guys. September the 4th meeting where we will, if we find someone else or make an appointment at that time.
You're correct.
Does that work?
The one thing I would say is beginning at the conclusion of the meeting tonight, at which point that's.
Yeah,
that's-
because that way he
Starting,
stays.
yeah, starting at the end of the meeting tonight.
Yeah.
The beginning, till the term of, till the, our next city council meeting, September the 4th.
Sure. Okay, so, okay.
Until the meeting of September the 4th. We'll make it, put it on the agenda at that time for further discussion.
I'll second it.
All right, then, let us vote. So Terry,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
Mike,
Yeah.
Sam,
Yes.
all right. That's our second unanimous tonight. What is going on? Thank you so much for coming, y'all. I'm sorry it's been so long. I apologize. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry. Switch.
No, we made sure he stays for the rest of the night.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, I'll take the correct.
Boyd, I thought you wanted to. Okay, well, he can come down. Okay, so, then let's go ahead and back up and go in order now. So do we have any public comments?
I wanna make a statement here
Yes.
on this public comments.
Yes.
Really, you changed it from what we've always done
Mm-hmm,
in this city.
yeah,
And I'm gonna reference, all the section 551.007, public
Yeah.
testimony.
that's what's right,
And
right
then
here
we got the
on the front.
government body shall allow each member of the public who desires to address the body regarding a item on the agenda. A governing body may adopt reasonable rules,
Mhm.
which is, I think is an agenda regarding the public's right to address the member of the public, may address the body on a given time. And we are altogether the government body.
Mhm.
And we really never discussed this, this new type of public comment.
Mhm.
So I think it needs to be back to the original,
Okay,
what we've always done. And then San Marcos does it the same way, 3-minute comments. Also,
San Marcos actually talks, they do, well, I did put it back. If you look, I put the time back.
I'm
Up
saying,
to
but
3
they-
minutes per agenda item, and San Marcos does it by agenda item, but I am not arguing with you, I'm just correcting a fact. I am fine with putting it back exactly how it
Okay.
was.
Okay. Okay.
Is that legal with TML?
It is totally legal, we can decide to do it for each item, or we can do them at the beginning only. The only reason why, he didn't ask me why, if you're gonna ask me why, I would tell you, the only reason why I did it was because at our attorney's advice, we have always allowed public comment during discussions. This would formalize it where there's rules around that to limit how long people talk and how many talk. Only one comment per person, et cetera, et cetera. So I thought it might streamline it and make it clear in writing rather than just, is it gonna be like, today we can talk, tomorrow we can't? How many people can talk? Well, we're tired, we only
Or
want
at
to
the
hear from one
discretion of the
person.
mayor or whatever.
Yeah, so I just thought, since it was already discretionary, if we put rules around it, it might give it a little more structure and efficiency. But it's fine, I don't mind putting it back how it was, because according to TML or anyone else, it can go either way.
And I do agree that, how we've done in the past, if somebody, we're talking about something, they want to raise their hand, I have no problem with that. You could call upon them if they want to.
It's the exact same thing.
Okay, I have no problem with that like we've done in the past.
Okay, so does anyone have any public comments?
Deanna does have, some online public comments.
Yes, sir.
So I'm gonna go ahead and read them. And I believe they're just by how she received them as well, so. The first one is from Frank O'Hart, and it's directed to Deanna, Mike, Terry, Matthew, Sam, Houston, Clinton. Your council member, as mayor As mayor, Catherine Grace has fought hard to protect the San Marcos River from drunken tubers and wastewater pollution. As a frequent user of the river for recreational paddling, I strongly urge you to accept Ms. Glaze as council member for the new vacant place 3. That's the first one. Second one is, do you want me to read the name and like who's it addressed to?
Mhm.
So the second one is from Mike Farrell. And it's addressed to Deanna, Mike, Terry, Matthew, Sam, and Laura. Yeah. It says, Dear council members, I'm writing in support of Catherine Glaze for filling the open council city seat. I have enjoyed the Martindale/San Marcos area for 40 years. I follow and participate in the San Marcos River Foundation. As mayor of Martindale, Catherine has acted to protect the San Marcos River and the public rights to enjoy it. She has long been supportive of river users and Texas Rivers Protection Association. She is leading the fight for Martindale to build a state-of-the-art wastewater reclamation facility to help wastewater out of the river. She was instrumental into passing of the San Marcos can ban and is adamant that she bans the bans be enforced. Though I reside out of the immediate region, I want to express my confidence in Catherine's ability to preserve the river I enjoy and love. And it's Mike Farrell from Conroe, Texas. Conroe, Texas.
Conroe.
What did I say?
No, that's what you
Okay, my
said.
bad. So this one's from Jerry Bayless, and it's directed to Deanna, and it's subject vacant council city seat. Good evening. My name is Jerry Bayless. I'm writing to express my desire and urge your assistance in allowing Catherine Glaze to fill the vacant council seat as a result of the recent mayoral race. I'm a frequent paddler of the San Marcos River, and I occasionally participate in cleanup activities along the section that I traverse in the area within Martindale city limits. And I believe Catherine is a great asset to the city, enabling the conservation efforts of our wonderfully unique resource. Please join me in supporting her willingness to serve and protect the interests of Martindale and the protectors and admirers of the San Marcos.
And where is he?
He didn't put it. Then I got the rest.
From Tom Goins.
Who it's to.
Yeah, I read who it's to in the subject. and
Okay.
such.
Tom Goins, to addressing City Council, Mike McLeod, Terry Warner, Matthew McGovern, Sam Houston Clinton, Laura Sanchez Fowler, Mayor. And subject, please let Catherine Glaze continue to protect the river. Dear Martindale City Council, no Martindale mayor has done more to protect the San Marcos River and the public's right to enjoy it than Catherine Glaze. She has long been a friend of the San Marcos River and the river users who respect it. She is leading the fight for Martindale to build the state-of-the-art wastewater reclamation facility, which will reuse all of the wastewater and keep it out of the river. She was instrumental in getting the city of San Marcos to pass a can ban, like the one that Martindale and New Braunfels has. And she is adamant that such bans can be enforced. Earlier this month, Catherine lost a very bitter battle for mayor. She lost by 4 votes, and many of us feel like her character was wrongly attacked. In fact, she is one of the nicest, most gracious person you will ever meet. In spite of these difficult elections, she is willing to fill the council seat of the lady that defeated her in the mayoral race. The city council must refill the empty seat. So why not let Catherine serve out the rest of the term of the lady that defeated her? Considering the very narrow margin of the mayoral election, it just seems that to make sense, they would simply change seats. I urge to let Catherine Glaze continue to protect the San Marcos River. I'm going. Wendy Bagwell. Sent to myself, Diana Guevara, but addressing council. Subject, fair process to replace vacant position. Hello. The former mayor was not reelected by the citizens of San Marcos.
Just read it how it is.
Of San Marcos, placing them back in office without an election or open process directly contradicts the decision of the voters. Appointing a recently defeated candidate behind closed doors erodes public confidence in our local government. It creates a perception of favoritism and political maneuvering rather than fairness. The council should commit to a transparent public process for filling the vacancy, open the seat to qualified applicants, allow for public interviews or statements, provide opportunities to residents to comment or express support, make the decision in a public session. Appointing someone without process sets a dangerous precedent that election outcomes can be bypassed. All interested and qualified community members deserve the same opportunity to serve. Our city deserves leadership that reflects our community's current voice, not a political rerun of the past leadership. This is a comment for the council to show it values public input over political convenience. I urge the council to prioritize transparency, equity, and community trust in filling this important role. Let the people be part of the process. Don't silence their voice through a backroom appointment. Thank you for listening, Wendy Bagwell, longtime Martindale resident. Chelsea James, to Martindale City Council, subject opposition to the appointment of Catherine Glaze to City Council. Members of the Martindale City Council, as a resident and actively engaged member of the Martindale community, I am writing to express my strong opposition to the appointment of Catherine Glaze to the currently vacant City Council seat. In addition, I would like to express my enthusiastic support for Robert Moreno's appointment. Robert brings a valuable combination of accounting expertise and public service experience, making him exceptionally well qualified to navigate the city financial and administrative responsibilities. His professionalism, dedication, and deep ties to the community will be a tremendous asset to the council and to Martindale as a whole. Ideally, a special election should be held to give voters the opportunity to choose their representative. At the very least, I urge council to host a public town hall, creating space for transparency, community input, and a fair platform for all interested candidates, including Robert Moreno, to make their voices heard. Our city government must prioritize transparency and community involvement at every step. Appointing a council member without broad community engagement undermines the democratic process and the trust we place in our local leadership. Martindale deserves better. I respectfully urge you to vote against the appointment of Catherine Glaze and to instead support a selection process that reflects the values and voices of our community. Thank you for your time, your service, and for leading with integrity. Sincerely, Chelsea James. For public comments, Martindale City Council meeting back in, Dear City Council, Mayor and Martindale residents, former Mayor Glaze served 2 full terms. I have no doubt she did her best, and for that I am grateful. However, on May 3rd, Martindale residents voted for a change. Placing Mrs. Glaze in position 3 not only undermines the will of the people for change, but denies residents the benefits of an outstanding talent pool. To my knowledge, at least 2 excellent candidates have put their names in the hat for place 3. Maury Domin, go ahead, Maury. There we go. Is clearly a man of vision.
Say Domingo.
Is clearly a man of vision while valuing the history of Martindale. Robert Moreno is a financial wizard and a numbers nerd in the best possible way. Both candidates are ace problem solvers and communicators. I strongly support both. As an aside, going forward, especially when choosing a grant facilitator, I hope all councilmen directly benefiting from the GLO and MIT grant recuse themselves from any decision-making in that regard. Many thanks for your time, careful consideration, and the opportunity to be heard today. Joy Youngers.
This next one's from Elizabeth Dennis, and it's addressed to all of council, even.
Can you speak up a little?
Oh, my bad. The next one is from Elizabeth Dennis, and it's addressed to Mike, Deanna, Terry, Laura, Matthew, Sam. Subject, please support Catherine Glaze for Martindale City Council. Dear Martindale councilpersons, as a visitor of your community for recreational paddling, I could tell you that the improvements made in the can bans and parking make the not so short drive from Houston well worth the effort. It's my understanding that Catherine Glaze, in her capacity as mayor, was responsible in large part. If you enjoy having visitors and the revenue they bring to your community, selecting Ms. Glaze would be the wise choice. Sincerely, Elizabeth Dennis.
I'm not sure if this person's here, Michelle Rumbaugh. Rumbo. Awesome. I don't have a public comment, but she submitted one. From Far Smith, to myself, addressing council, subject Catherine Glaze. Dear council member, the San Marcos River is a local, state, and national treasure. As mayor, Catherine Glaze fought hard to protect the river from misuse and wastewater pollution. As a frequent user of that river for recreational paddling and a member of the annual cleanups efforts, I strongly urge you to support Ms. Glaze as a council member for the now vacant position so that she can continue her good work. Sincerely, Far Smith. Now, public comment, Mary Beth Harper, Library.
Go right ahead, Mary. Go right ahead. You've been waiting all night.
U.S. school, I have show and tell. Okay, first of all, this is today's Lockhart paper, front page. The Martindale Library launches summer reading program for all ages. This is written by the editor. A very nice complimentary story about our library. And we'll pass it around if y'all haven't seen it. It's show and tell. Side, don't get to read that. Okay, and I want to thank the city council members to be present today, to have a real city council meeting. Appreciate it. Finally. Okay. Second item here, summer reading program starting the last Saturday and runs until July 26th. And the article out there was about our summer reading program. There was over 100 people at the last Saturday's event with our little petting zoo. This is paid for by a grant from Save the Children. And by the way, adults can turn in their reading hours, and anything counts as reading hours. Reading all the stuff here counts. And go through one of the city council meetings and all the suggestions you might win some.
Right.
You have to turn the hours in. Okay, next item, the first ever Juneteenth celebration in Martindale. This will be on Saturday, June 21st. Duets in the library will partner with Patrice Cook and Mary Wilson to have an all-day event. And this will be at Duets. And library is going to have mad science from 10 to 11. And this is part of our summer meeting program. Okay, then we have our fourth annual Health and Wellness Fair. It's going to be Saturday, June 28th from 9 to 1, 413 Main Street. We'll have 10 to 15 vendors set up, offer all kinds of freebies. This is funded by St. David's Foundation. They recognized several years ago that Martindale is a healthcare desert. And unfortunately, our St. David's grant is going to be running out here pretty soon. So we'll see what happens. Okay, then we have the upcoming July 4th parade, the River Festival in September, Fall Family Festival in October, and there's more things coming. Also, council members and some of the audience there's a lavender colored paper. Okay, these are the remarks I delivered at the May 22nd council meeting at Scandal, the Muslim Life Forum. Okay, and to all city council members and to the citizens of Martindale. Our library director, Ashley Burrow, informed the library, this is on May 21st, that she is resigning as of June 14th. Her reason is uncertainty of receiving her next paycheck because of problems with the contract between the library and the city of Martindale. We have run on volunteers in the past and continue to do so in the future. The library is not closing. You may think that without a library director, that the city does not have to fund the library to $24,000. According to the budget, it's been sitting there for over a year. Okay, according to TSLAC rules, a library must receive local funding to remain accredited. Also, without the city's funding, we seriously impair our ability to hire a library director in the future. Too much more work in the city with uncertain annual funding for 21 hours a week and no benefits. Yeah, accreditation is very important. This allows the library to apply for large state and national grants. One of the main effects would be the loss of E-rate funds that pay for free Wi-Fi for downtown, for the businesses and also residents here in the downtown area. This is a trickle down effect. A visitor to the parks would not be able to purchase a parks mobile pass if they rely on the library's Wi-Fi. And it was stated in a council meeting that people get down there to the parks and, they have to buy their parks mobile and you get, there's 100 people in line and the Wi-Fi doesn't work down there. So that he said, I'll try to use the library's Wi-Fi. Well, we don't have a contract, we're not accredited, he'll lose that. And also the AARP Foundation requires our secure Wi-Fi connection to continue process action. This would be a huge negative effect on our elderly citizens. So this year, AARP tax-paid people had $250 million in refunds to citizens in Morganville, elderly people. They would lose access to grants that pay for computer refresh and renew, also the installation software. And any citizen can use our computers for free. We offer a lot of free stuff. Okay, there are other grants that allow us to purchase books for both adults and children. And these grants that we have are specific for books or computers. It's not for salaries. Very few of them have salaries. The delay in finalizing the library contract has impacted the library and the citizens of Morganville. How will do not close. I would request that you put the library contract on the next agenda, please.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have others?
Yes, we do. Stephanie Carl.
Her again? Good evening, Madam Mayor, council members, neighbors, city staff. To our elected officials, thank you. You guys volunteer your time and effort for this community, and that should never go unrecognized. I'm here again tonight to talk about leadership in Martindale, how we make it more accessible, accountable, and professional. But first, a moment of recognition. At our last gathering, Catherine Blaze stood in the spotlight, fielding tough questions from frustrated residents. That wasn't easy, and she deserves credit and our respect for showing up. So thank you. Thank you very much. During her time as mayor, she served faithfully, and she accomplished real good in this town, and no one is denying that. The politics in Martindale are not black and white, and they're not red or blue, as some people on Facebook would like you to believe. They're nuanced, they're human, and they require critical thinking, compassion, and real solutions. And while I appreciate Catherine's optimism and commitment and service, I do, I respectfully do not believe that she is the right choice to fill the current council vacancy or to be appointed grants manager, a role historically held by the mayor. And I do not agree with the council's attempt to install her at the last meeting. Not going to talk about that. I'm sure other people. While I appreciate Catherine's desire to facilitate a smooth transition, and I understand that she is very knowledgeable about current grants, I do not believe that that alone qualifies her to continue service. 2 weeks ago, it became very clear, after 2 years of citizens providing thoughtful, consistent, and factual objections to the River Road grant, including legal, environmental, and community concerns, Ms. Glaze still could not understand why anyone would oppose it. I think that's a problem, especially considered what we're facing moving forward. Now, as a grant writer and nonprofit consultant, I can tell you when someone becomes too personally invested in a project, especially one that's mismanaged, the risks escalate. The River Road grant is at the end of the road. The timeline is too short. The obstacles are too great. What Martindale needs now is a steady hand to assess our legal and financial exposure and begin damage control, not someone who wants to push forward out of loyalty to a legacy. Lately, we've seen a pattern of clinging to power and shutting down dissent, and this isn't just about one person. It's about a mindset, one that resists change, one that vilifies different perspectives and doubles down when challenged. Now that is unhealthy anywhere, but especially dangerous in a town like Martindale on the cusp of rapid growth. community members should not be afraid to voice their minds. And I'll be honest, I almost didn't speak tonight. I know that's probably hard for some of you to believe, but I almost didn't. Not because I don't care, but because I was scared of retaliation. I was worried about being targeted by neighbors with more threats, about council members lashing out, about being ostracized from certain groups for speaking up and speaking my mind. That's not how democracy should feel in a small town, y'all. We should not have to weigh safety and peace against truth and participation. Growth is coming. We all know it, whether we like it or not. What we need now are leaders who listen, who adapt, who lead with vision, and work with integrity and respect. Because this isn't just about a grant. It's about credibility, it's about transparency, and whether we're ultimately ready for what's next. As for the River Road grant, those of us who've raised concerns over the last 2 years will no doubt be blamed for its failure by certain people, but let the record show we have been raising red flags for 2 years about the numerous issues with this project and its high likelihood of failure. We've written emails, mostly unanswered. We've asked questions, attended numerous council meetings and workshops, and pleaded for accountability and transparency. We have pointed out mismanagement and the ways the city has been taken advantage of. Our concerns were dismissed and our warnings ignored. We knew this day would come. It's time to move on and mitigate the fallout. It is not ideal, but it is a fixable situation and hopefully one that we can all learn from. It is encouraging that we have qualified candidates who have stepped up to fill place 3. I hope the council genuinely considers each of them and chooses someone who can help lead us forward and not cling to the past. This surge in participation is a great sign. But we must ask, why has it been so rare? Spoiler alert, it's not apathy, it's barriers. Financial, emotional, and social. Many folks can't afford to serve or don't want to step into a toxic environment. Here's the truth. Unpaid leadership creates 2 problems. First, it excludes working class residents, young parents, renters. Second, it lowers the bar on professionalism. And we've seen that play out. Boycotting meetings, vacancies filled by assumption and not process. That's not how democracy works. We need fresh voices. We need vision, respect, and a process that invites and not excludes the community. Our elected officials need to be paid. Even a modest stipend can shift things. It removes barriers. It elevates expectations, makes service sustainable. Uland, a town just our size, pays its mayor $2,000 a month and council members $500, plus stipends for special meetings. Others offer per meeting payments tied to attendance. There are many models. We just need to pick one and begin. And I'm not asking for full salaries. I'm asking for a conversation, an acknowledgement, a study, a start. I would propose that we begin by reallocating the 20 grand once spent on a part-time city administrator. Madam Mayor, council members, I urge you to build a system where anyone, regardless of age, income, or background, can lead and feels welcome. Let's stop asking who wants to serve and start asking why more people don't. Together, we can build a future that honors our roots while embracing growth, one that invites working parents, young leaders, and everyday neighbors to step in, not just the same unopposed names. Let's raise the bar on professionalism. Make leadership aspirational, not automatic. Let's be the town that leads with integrity and imagination and understands that no one person or party has all the answers. Good ideas can come from anywhere. Let's prove that in Martindale leadership isn't claimed, it's earned and it's shared. And most of all, let's be kind. Our children are watching. Thank you for listening and thank you for your service.
Jay Daniel.
Jay Daniel, and I'm a river guy.
Yeah, you are.
I serve as the chairman of the Martindale River Advisory Board. I serve on the San Marcos River Foundation Board. But I come to you as a guy who lives in the area. I'm in the ETJ. I don't vote for you guys, so if you don't want to hear anymore, I can walk on out of here. Start with the elephant in the room. Mike, I apologize to you. I was very angry at you the last time we were supposed to have a meeting and you didn't bother to show. And I said
That
to
was the
Tommy,
first meeting though. Okay, go ahead.
you didn't bother to show. And I said to Tommy, I said, I am so angry at Mike that I want to punch him in the mouth. I did not say I was going to punch Mike in the mouth. And I say that because we've been friends for 40 years.
That was a tough meeting. I can't say anything else.
We've been friends for 40 years. And the reason I'm so angry at you is because you're doing the very thing that I thought you joined this council, which is to do the right thing. And so
I'd like to say something, but I can't.
that's right. Mayor Glaze, former Mayor Glaze, your pastor came and spoke on your behalf at the last council meeting, my mother's pastor.
I know.
And so I'd like to leave you with this. I won't leave you with this, but I'll give you 1 Thessalonians 5:22, which says to abstain from all appearance of evil. That's what that last council meeting appeared to be. Looked like you had cocked something up on your side and had a plan and didn't want to do the right thing. All of this appears to, it doesn't pass the smell test, guys. I mean, it's all I've heard for the last 3 weeks is they had this cooked up, they had this cooked up. You guys did a wonderful job of politicking. I mean, we have people from all over the state right now. And I'm proud of you for that. I mean, it shows at least you've got some good sense. You know, I've always said since the first meeting I came to city council, and I was very proud of you for that meeting, Mike. You know what that first meeting was? That was a meeting where the disposable container ordinance, commonly known as the can ban, was passed. But it's also at that meeting where I realized in Martindale, all politics is not local. All politics here is personal. Anybody who doubts that, you know, doesn't have a lick of sense. This all seems to stem from the Northwest River Road Drainage Project, which had a direct impact on the former mayor, right in front of her house. Mr. McGovern, right down the road from his house. Mr. McLeod, right
Wasn't
across
in
from
front
your
of my
house.
house. Wasn't in front of my house.
And you know
I'll
what?
clarify that.
Where I come from, you should have recused yourselves. Now, I don't know who would have voted at that point for it, or voted against it for that matter, but it just doesn't look like it's the right thing to do. I mean, I drove down River Road the other day from the schoolhouse all the way to down that major thoroughfare, till I got to Highway 80. You know where there was water standing? Not in front of the schoolhouse, not all the way to the shoe tree, not until we got to where the culvert used to be that drained to the river.
From my house.
Yeah. And so any river guy would seem to know that the shortest distance between 2 points is from where that water's pooling through the old culvert to the river. As for Catherine being on the city council, I mean, man, I didn't realize you did so much work for the city of San Marcos. That was really neat to hear. From where I stand, you're infamous for not enforcing or having enforced city ordinances. You know, there's several times that came out of our committee that we asked for ordinance to be enforced. And man, if they were honorable people or likable people or something else people, we didn't want to do that. We can look at the emails if you like. Matthew, you were dead set against this drainage project when it was really going to affect your yard. And then when everything got moved, now all of a sudden, you're for it.
I'm gonna go on record, I mean, I never voted on this.
Oh, well then,
because I have to abstain.
So, okay, I take that back. 2 out of 3. That should have also. Thank you for that. Mike, I defended you to several.
I didn't vote for it either.
Is that right?
No, I didn't, because I was not in office at that time. I did not vote for the original, when the meeting was, can I speak? It's out of line here. I'm gonna go on record that I was not on council when they voted for that grant.
Okay,
The
that's good.
first thing I'll
All
say
right,
no
that's good.
more.
That's
I
good. That's
apologize
enough.
for that. I defended
That's
you.
enough.
I have defended you as passionate. I don't know how many people I've told through the years that you remind me of my uncle Raymond, who also worked in the oil field his entire life. And didn't learn how to speak in a quiet voice.
You're just taking it out, just punching.
Stop.
You've called me on the phone and you've harangued me about that subdivision needs to become a part of the city. And I agreed with you up until the last council meeting. You've called me and harangued me about how we need to be on the same page about the zero discharge wastewater permit. That came from the River Committee. We're on the same page. You called and harangued me about what needs to be a regional park. And I agree with you on that. You told me, I'm a park expert. And I was like, that's
I don't
great.
hate saying this.
Stop. You don't have permission to speak
I
back
want to
during.
defend myself. Because you're lying.
Okay, that's
You
enough,
can't-
Mike.
You can't do that.
I was
It's gonna be
gonna
straight on the
be
back.
quiet.
That's the way I'm gonna be treated. Speaker, I have my comments earlier.
Any others, Tiana?
Sonia Villalobos.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for being here so late. And I wanted to thank the council and the mayor and for everybody that turned in a packet. So, you know, I loved reading about what you could potentially contribute to the council, and it gives me hope. It makes me very hopeful. I think you have some really good applications, and it's gonna be hard for y'all to choose. But what I wanted to say is that I'll start with you, Matthew, because you said you abstained from every vote. And this is one thing. So I did an open records request, and I asked for every time that you abstained from the vote. And guess what I got back? Nothing. I didn't get back anything from that. So I asked for each time that you abstained from a vote on the Northwest River Road project, and I did not get anything back. So then I'll go ahead and start right here. So I'm here tonight to express my growing concern over the lack of transparency and just the mishandling of the grant. And there's an apparent conflict of interest related to the West River Road Grant project. Transparency, it isn't optional. It is a responsibility of this governing body. It means clear communication, ethical decision-making, and public access to information, especially when it involves taxpayer dollars and just the rights of citizens that we need. I did an open records request. I submitted it on May 14th, and I did get back just a trickle of emails and another big, long email from that Matthew McGovern submitted on why he was not turning in any open records requests. When I was on council, I had an open records request, and guess what? I kept all of my emails. I was able to send all of my emails to whoever needed them because you could look at whatever you needed to if I was on council. I think that you take out the servant part of being a council member. You are a servant of the city. And I mean, it's a prestigious position to be in, but yet I feel like I'm scratching and clawing at trying to get information, and like my rights as a citizen are being infringed upon because I can't get any answers. So when I asked for the abstentions, how much the easements were getting, who was getting, so then up until when I did the open record request, you were getting an amount. Dorothy Jo was, because the property's under her name. But then on the 19th is when you came back to the city with an attorney saying that you were gonna go ahead and do eminent domain. So, I mean, it just, transparency, this isn't just a matter of neglecting rules. It just undermines the trust of the community, like what we have. What we have in this council is leadership. And it leaves the council exposed just like to, just people being able to come up with assumptions. And like, what I asked for in open records was to just have a clear picture. I couldn't even get that. Terry submitted one email, Mike did one, you came back with an email. That was all the way from the time.
text
From the, yeah, the text,
I did
from the time, but you also said why you weren't gonna turn it in. Your cell phones, your personal cell phones, if you're talking about city business on them, are open to open records requests. Your emails are open to open records requests,
All emails.
all of it, yes. So then that's what I was asking for, so what that alludes me to think is there was no action happening all the way from January, all the way to May, where nobody is communicating with nobody about city business. And we have a lot of stuff going on here that needs to be discussed. I'm so glad that everybody like chimed in and turned in emails for our former mayor as well about the river. Because I've also been on that end, once an email gets sent out, please send out an email for this candidate or whatever, but we have more things. I love the river. I'm the one that created the River Advisory Board, believe it or not. Mike voted no first, and then he got on board. I had to keep coming because I knew how much this town needed this. So we were able to get it done.
We did.
So, but we have other issues going on. We have a plethora of things going on. So you need to look at this city, whoever's gonna be in this position, to be able to focus on multiple things that we got going on. Not only the river, not only the Canavan, not only the, keep on putting up the stop sign 15 times after it gets taken out every single time. Not only putting up the parking signs that everybody vandalizes and you're not getting money for anyway at the park. I wanna be able to trust y'all. I should be able to call, if I ask you for an ordinance about, the parking lots or what you were telling me about, then I should be able to get it. I shouldn't have. Well, I'm coming to you. And you see, that's what we get as citizens. So I'm glad that, it's on full display.
I have a question. Can anybody tell me who the council members were that voted for the Northwest River Road
Yep.
grant?
No, that's,
We can't do this.
Okay,
now.
I can look it up. I just wondered.
are there any other?
Joy, unless I read
Yeah, I know.
earlier,
And that was written for the meeting, 3 meetings
Right.
ago. I will only add that, I would hope that comments from Martindale City and ETJ residents would carry a little bit more weight than other towns.
Anybody else? Nope. And did anyone not get on the list that wanted to make a comment?
Make a comment. Marty, are you a developer?
Hey, hold on, no,
You
no,
can
no, no,
only
no,
address the
no, no,
council.
no, that's-
You can only address the council. You can't address other people.
I didn't realize he was, wanting to be on city council. That seems like a conflict of interest for a developer to be on the city council.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? All right, then we will move along to the reports. So, please disregard, any public comment statements that you hear through the rest of the report. But you can raise your hand and I can call on you and then you can make a public comment. So, the first one is, I just wanted to make a statement about reinstating Robert's rules because they are kind of the procedural default under the local government code and the Martindale ordinances that say that we will use parliamentary procedure, and that was never undone. And since it's never been undone, it just stopped being followed. We need to go back to using those. So I think that will help us be a little more organized and a lot more polite. So what I did was just provide you with a quick little condensed summary. Here, you can just pass them around. And it's just for your own information, in case you're not up on your parliamentary procedure. I made some extra copies, so people, if you want to take one, you can, or just pass them by. But they're just the basic principles about the meeting structure and making motions and what kinds of motions can be made. As well as, I will call your attention to, on page 3, on page 2 is debate limits. So for example, each council member may speak 2 times on any motion per meeting day. A member may not speak a second time until all members who wish to speak have spoken. Each time you speak is limited to 10 minutes unless extended by a council vote. And your debate must relate to the motion on the floor, no off-task comments.
That is by the resolution.
There you go. 06-1204. No council member shall speak twice on any question, nor shall any council member speak more than once before each council member so desiring to has been heard. So these are just they're nothing new. They just stop being followed.
Resolution.
And it's also on the front of the on the front of the agenda. The front of the agenda says 3101. Huh?
You said the syllabus?
Yeah, I'm sorry. On the front of the agenda, 3101B2, as well as local government code 22.037. It does say that the body can decide for itself if they want to use a different procedure or if they want to make their own procedures. However, we didn't do that. The only thing we have is we have our ordinance and we have a resolution. So that's what we're going to do. Anyways, then after the debate limits, there is also rules for decorum at council meetings. For example, we need to make sure that our comments are speaking about the topic and not about the other person. We're not using inflammatory language. We're not trying to impugn another person's integrity. We do one speaker at a time. We're not talking across or having side conversations. So there you go. You can look through that at your leisure or buy a copy of Robert's Rules and bring that, whatever you want to use. It's all the same stuff. Nothing's been changed or edited. Beyond that, the assistant city administrator is going to just quickly talk to council and the public about the online system for citizens' concerns, because I know y'all started all at the same time I did, getting email notices about concerns as they were filed. So did you have any? What is the new system, Javier?
Yeah, so whenever the public or anyone submits a public concern on the city website.
Speak up, speak up.
Oh, my bad. Whenever the public submits a public concern on the city website, it might just feel like it just goes into a void, which is understandable. Now, the situation is the city gets an email from the program that we have. And in there, it shows us exactly what the public comment is or what the situation is. And it tells us a name or it says anonymous or what have you. And then from there, the new system now, the previous system was that it would just stand there for a little bit until eventually Jared, the mayor, or I would sit down and look at it and try to figure out what we could do. The new system now is that we get that email from the Civic Plus. We put it in an Excel spreadsheet and then we have a different code system or a color code system to see like, okay, this one has been reached out. We reached out to this individual. This one is complete. This one, if it's white and then it hasn't been acted upon yet. Matthew and I worked on it very briefly. We plan on expanding it a little more for city council side of things. We originally discussed just having city staff and the mayor and the pro tem mayor to be able to edit the document and edit whatever is in that document. I still plan on keeping it like that, so it just doesn't get added on or just keeps on like adding up. The goal, or it's a possibility right now, or the goal really, is to allow city council that same document without being able to edit, just being able to be like, if someone from the public was like, oh, I submitted a public comment, what's the status on this? On the city council side of things, you'll be able to be like, let me look at the spreadsheet real quick, and I could tell you what's the status more or less. And that's the new system that we're gonna implement.
There you go. So if you don't hear back from one that you submit to us, contact Hobby and he should be able to look on his spreadsheet and tell you what status it's under and who it got assigned to and when we think it might be completed.
It's like a more or less ballpark about like, hey, I haven't responded to you because we're trying to figure this out also to help that situation. I could just look at the spreadsheet for you essentially.
Yeah, like somebody called the other day because after one of the storms, there was a tree in the middle of the road and they needed to have it moved. And fortunately, Sam went out with his big manly hands and he tore that tree apart and moved it out of the road and stacked it in the back of his truck. And then he left whatever didn't fit in a nice neat pile on the side of the road. But it's difficult because like these things come in and we don't have a staff for that. Like we don't have a street department. We don't have a tree department. Like I drove around with my mom the other day and we made notes of all of the places where there's just overgrowth that's covering stop signs or street signs and you can't see what you're coming up on. And anyhow, so yeah, and I was like, boy, that city department really needs to get on the ball, don't they? But then I was like, I don't even know, who do you call for that? You have to like find a guy, right? So there you go. So yeah, so we're working on it, but just some things are outside the box and we don't have a staff for that. So we have to call around and get people and figure it out. And we do, but just so you know, that's the deal. And all of the city council now gets a copy of every single one of those forms when they come in. So everyone should be well aware. So you should be able to ask somebody, hey, I filled out a paper the other day, and a council member should say, oh yeah, I remember that. Or what was it about? Oh yeah, that. So everybody should be well aware when something comes through.
So how do we know who was designated to address the issue? Like if we read it in our email, how do we know?
You can't because it gets sent directly, but Javi, what was your plan for that?
In the spreadsheet that we have, it's like, it's the person's name, the person's last name, their address if they provide it, and then the comment that they put in that system. And at the very end, I added like city comments or city, like for city use essentially. And in that very last cell is where like we put like Matthew reached out to so-and-so or Laura reached out to so-and-so. Javi got in contact with this person.
Okay.
And so that's how the city council will be able to like.
But we'll have to figure out how you can just access that information, right? Because it's not on the form because it comes right out of the system.
Share Excel spreadsheet.
Yeah, it would just be like, we're just sharing an Excel
We'll share
spreadsheet.
it, but the council members won't be able to edit.
Yeah.
They'll only view it.
Mhm.
So if someone calls.
Where will they go to get it?
Well, if you're, all the council people have an Outlook drive.
Oh,
And
gotcha.
that
Good one.
drive would be a shared file.
Mhm.
And then that shared file will have permissions. So the staff would be the only ones allowed to make those changes. The council would be able to view.
The
you know,
changes and such.
And call if they got a question, like, why did why didn't someone else take care of it,
Right.
So,
Gotcha.
But it would allow a conduit, if you will, to your neighbor,
Perfect. Mhm.
So that was the thought process.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Then the consent agenda. That is the city accountant reports and the wastewater management reports and the chief of police reports for March and April, because we've been a little behind. And when it's under consent reports like that, it just means that we can make one single motion and accept them all at one time. We're not going to have the individual come up and talk about it and answer questions and do a report. Next meeting, because we usually have the reports on the second meeting of the month. So at the next meeting, the 19th of June, is when they'll make a live in-person one. And if you have questions about any of their reports, you can ask them then. We'll continue posting online the full agenda packet because a lot of people are interested in looking at those reports beforehand so they know if they have questions. And because like especially the financial stuff is really hard to read up there on the screen. So they'll all be online. You can download them early and come up with all the questions you have for them.
They have been for the past 3 agendas.
But excellent, perfect. So then I guess we need a motion to accept those three reports.
You can just say motion to accept the consent agenda items.
Motion to accept the consent agenda items.
I'll make a motion to accept the consent agenda items.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that,
And any objections?
as long as we can discuss it next meeting.
Yeah,
So what you can do on a consent agenda item is you can always make a motion to pull an item out
Mhm.
off the consent agenda. So for instance, if in reviewing ahead of time, if you looked at something and you said, the water maintenance report from April of 2025, I've got a question. I make a motion that we pull that item off the consent agenda for discussion. Then you can, but the whole idea with the consent agenda is that it gives the council the opportunity to review in advance, and then only if there are questions are those questions then asked if an item's pulled.
And I would ask to remove the April 2025 financial report, but I do have questions about that.
So pull it.
we can't. I don't know if we can.
So
What can we do because he's not here?
So then what you can do is approve that report. So you can make a motion to approve the consent agenda items except the April 2025 financial report so that you can ask questions at the next meeting.
Aha, yeah, that's how we do it. Knew there was a thing about that.
Every time I make a motion, y'all gotta make it more complicated.
Terry, the longer you're on council, the higher we expect your skills to grow.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, I will make a motion to approve the.
We have to vote on that though. We have to vote.
She makes a motion and then you'll go to approve it.
Yeah, because I'm gonna, I guess, amend.
Yeah, amend, you can amend.
Yeah,
Okay.
amend it.
So I'm gonna make a motion to approve the consent agenda items, removing the April 2025 financial reports
For discussion at the next meeting.
for discussion at the next meeting.
And I'll second that.
Thank you.
Any objections? All right, cool. Then it passes. Again, then they're accepted.
Are we gonna vote? Oh, I guess we don't have.
I said any objections and no.
Oh, okay, that means everybody's good.
Okay, so new business, discussion and possible action on appointment to City Council Place 3. So it'll be this position, the person put in this position will be through May 2026. If you would like to, if you're a candidate and you would like to address council, you are free to do so. And then council members, you can ask questions of any candidate you would like to. And I'm sorry, but I don't know what to do with number 3. I guess what we would have to say is raise your hand if you have a question for one of them, and I will call on you. So anyone want to go first? Let's see. Mari, would you like to make a statement?
Sure.
Please do.
My name is Mari Domonjo. I've lived in
Domonjo, wow.
Domingo.
Domonjo. Yes, it's Cajun. Yeah, my family's from Lafayette. My dad's famous. So I've lived in Martindale for about 6 years.
Been that long?
Yeah, it's been
Dang, time
COVID.
flying.
It took 5 years to redo the building across the street, and I lived here about a year. Before that, that's how I remember it. So anyway, 6.5 years. I came here because I saw the derelict building. It was the Martindale Motor Company building, and believed that there was potential in that building. I also believed that it was holding the town back, because for those of you who saw it and passed it back in those times, it was a scary looking place. And it was condemned. People weren't allowed to go in it. Even after I owned it, I wasn't supposed to go in it because it was so dangerous. We accomplished a lot. We built a really good team together. We got the Martindale Historic District recognized at the federal level. So now we're in the record of historic places.
Just hold that. The people online are saying they can't hear.
Oh, okay.
Well, they want to see you, so they would like for you to get a.
Yeah.
Come on, come up to the podium.
Yeah.
Be a star.
Be a star.
Hello, internet people.
Perfect.
So I came to Martindale to make a difference. I was living in Austin at the time. I felt like I wanted to do something civic. I wanted to make communities better. I could have tried to do that in Austin, but it would have been such a tiny impact on such a large place. And then I saw the building and I got to know Martindale. And I'd been coming to Martindale for about 20 years because I went to high school with David Long, who owns the Cotton Gin. So I've been to the community. I had been aware of the community and coming here long before I spotted the opportunity with the building. So anyway, I saw that and I really felt like that building could make a difference for Martindale, and I felt like Martindale was a place where I could make a difference. And so that's why I'm here. The Schmitz house became available, luckily. And so I moved in there, and then again, for 6 years, I've lived in that house right across the street from the building that I had a major role in renovating. I think that building has turned out to be like a centerpiece of downtown. I think it's the best restored building we have. We've got duets operating down on the bottom, which is really wonderful with music. I think it's a community hub, which was our dream with Ryan and Katie to be able to create that. Upstairs is Western 1924, which is 5 lofts. If you look at the Martindale area, which Airbnb has, we're the largest revenue generating property there. Last year, we did 550 nights. So some people stayed 3 nights, some people stayed 5 nights. So that doesn't mean 550 people booked, but we had 550 people who mostly are non-Martindale citizens come to Martindale and stay in Martindale because of Western 1924 upstairs. And so I'm very happy about that. So I think that building has achieved its purpose. The second thing I've invested quite a bit of time in is improving 2 other properties here in town. One is the home that I live in. To my knowledge, it's the second oldest home in the town. 1882 is when that home was built. I spent quite a bit of effort to restore it. And then I've also purchased and I've been restoring and maintaining 103 Bowie Street, which is also an early town home in the town, about 1905 or so. Okay, so what's up on the screen right now? I will say that Martindale got recognized through the building as one of the top 3 historic restorations in the entire state of Texas from 2022 to 2024. So that's a big accomplishment.
Always love that.
Me too. Me too. I also want to thank those of you who were on city council at the time for working with me and helping me there. Mike, I know. Yeah. So I remember clearly you and Kent were extremely helpful, as well as Mayor DeVinny in helping me work through some challenges of getting that building done. So, and Sonia, thank you, Sonia. That's right. So anyway, so that's sort of the why I'm here, is to try to make a difference. I have not been I have been slightly involved in city management in that I've been a member of the historical commission for 4 years, and I've been its chair for the last year. So I have had some prior service with the city. So I've got that. I also have had an opportunity to sit on quite a number of private board of directors, as well as large teams and staffs. So I'm very comfortable with agendas and staying on track and helping things be streamlined and pulling teams together to make decisions and to understand all of the options and things like that. So I feel like I could bring all of that to bear. As I've watched city council, I understand, I see a lot of similarities between the legal regulation, the fiduciary obligation, the way they're managed in a private company. It's very similar to what happens here. So I think I would be comfortable in that regard. I'm one of several, I think 5 candidates that y'all have a choice of. I have nothing but respect for every one of the other candidates who've put their name in the hat. I think you can make, I think you have many really great choices to make. So I know you'll make a good decision from the many candidates you have. So I guess I'll pause now and and answer any questions from council or from people that are here.
I want to clarify, Sonia, you were on city, I'm just saying, people that are currently on city council. That's why I didn't include you, but you were
Hey,
heavily involved.
I know what I did.
You know exactly what
I don't need her.
Any questions for Maury?
Go ahead.
Okay,
Can you tell us briefly what you did before here, what you were involved in on the West Coast?
yeah, sure. So I actually grew up in Humble, Texas, which at the time I grew up there, which was quite a long time ago, it was only 2,500 people. So I'm a fifth generation Texan. I grew up in a town that feels a lot like, felt a lot like Martindale feels today. That's part of the reason I sort of decided to make Martindale my home, because it is a comfortable place to me. I came to Austin for high school and college, and then I had a 30-year career in tech, most of it out in Silicon Valley. When I was there, I was a venture capitalist for about 10 years. We had about 24 companies. We had some go public. We had some of them get sold. We have many more of them go out of business. But I have seen a lot of P&Ls. I feel like I'm very comfortable looking at financials and understanding trends and being able to try to spot areas for improvement and that sort of thing. So I did venture capital, and the other thing I did was I was involved in startups all the way from a entry-level employee at the beginning of my career to a CFO, COO, and president at the end when I sold a digital marketing agency before I relocated back to Texas.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Moreno.
Wow, how do I top that? I'll just be short and sweet. My name is Robert Marino. I've been here in Martindale for the last 6 years. I think that as I joined the Caldwell County ESD number 3. I'm on their board, so I work with them. We're so in budgets, expenditures. So we're looking at all those things that we're using the taxpayer dollars in that regard, and spending that for the fire service for Martindale. I've had in the corporate world for 30 years, in manufacturing, healthcare, not-for-profit, governmental entities. I've got a degree in accounting, a degree in finance. I'm a CPA, and I'm offering to volunteer my financial expertise to the city of Martindale and city council.
Yeah.
What Mark wrote.
That's weird. Any questions for him? Anybody? Questions?
What do you see are the hot topic issues that we'll be going through in the future, or how do you see the future of Martindale?
You know, like the developers that were here, I mean, the city's going to grow, and that's where I expect there are proposals that are going to come out that we can review those and make financial sense of what they're proposing and make sure what is the best for the city of Martindale. I think we're growing, and the only thing that we can do is manage that control. We can't stop it, we can manage it. So as much as I don't like it, I know that it's going to happen, and just kind of take it for the best that we can, manage it as well as we can.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
With your financial background, Morris too.
Can you speak up?
Yeah, with their financial background and ability to make big changes in businesses and that sort of thing. You're a CPA, is that what you said? How do you see our city getting into a better financial situation?
So that's hard to know without going back and looking at those financials, but I do know that the city is constrained by tax dollars. I mean,
Right.
we have your limited resources at tax dollars, and you have to make prioritize what the city needs, and where they need to spend their money. So it's hard to know what those items are at this point in time. But, and I know, I mean, people want better roads in Martindale, and roads are expensive. So it's hard to, I don't know what the current budget looks like to be able to say what can be allocated towards roads. But, I think that's the part of it is as you go and set budgets, you go and look at what resources you have and allocate those resources as best you can, for the immediate needs with a thought for the future of what's coming up in the future. That's what we're doing with the ESD. We're trying to maintain the fire department as is while trying to build a fire station. We're trying to build a reserve, to build a fire station, to be able to move there. But so with the fire department, they want this, and this. And I have to say, I can give you this, or I can give you this. We can't spend both. You have to put this money here and this money to this project, but we can't buy all of this today. So I think that's kind of, that's my approach is prioritize and then make the best decisions. And I think part of it is in the role of as a city council member, I think you're the voice for the citizens. So you have to listen to what the citizens want to prioritize those items that are coming in.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So then, Catherine Blaze. Okay, so I'm Catherine Blaze. I've been mayor for 4 years, and it would seem really crazy that I'd want to go on to be on city council. But we were at a crossroads with the Northwest River Road grant, as was brought up tonight with the eminent domain attorneys and so forth. And we were about to go out to bid at the same time that we were going to finish the land acquisition phase. So we were really hot and heavy into this whole project. And someone suggested to me when I did lose that maybe I'd want to be on city council. And at first I thought, well, do I really want to do that? And then I was thinking about all these things that we were going forward with. And I thought, yeah, I'd really like to see these things accomplished. The grant is a contract. And we did, Jared and I did go to Langford to explore whether or not we'd have to pay back the funds. They honestly couldn't tell us because nobody has ever defaulted on it before. Now, I wish Richard could have stayed because he's worked on a lot of grants. And he said there probably would be some concessions because everything has been done legally. I know there's been some accusations that it hasn't been, but if you look at our paperwork, we've done all of the studies, everything has been legal. And I know that there's some people unhappy about it, but when we talk about getting new roads, this is one way of getting a new road, at least for a half a mile. So I really did want to see that whole project finished. And I've got a lot of experience by being the mayor. I did it kind of backwards. Most people are in city council first and then maybe try out being mayor. Mayor DeVinny wasn't going to run, so I thought the other two positions had candidates that were running against them. So I said, okay, I'll try being mayor. But then I did have a candidate, and I did win in 2021. So doing a campaign is difficult, and you get out of your comfort zone, and you do learn a lot, though, about the community by going and talking to all of the constituents in the city. And that's always very valuable.
And I actually ended up enjoying doing that. So going forward, I did consult with the attorney about how do you go about filling this when I found out that Laura had won. How do you go about filling this position? And he gave me several options and he said, you could go ahead and fill it right away if you want to do that. We just had an election and nobody had really come forward to run. And so I thought, well, how do we know if anybody really wants to run? So I went ahead and put it on the agenda. When the council saw that there was interest in it, they backed up and gave everybody a chance to say what, if they would want to fill that position. So I'm really proud of them for doing that. So if I am your choice, I would love to continue to serve. I've been in Martindale for 32 years. And I know a lot of the people here. And I've served on the parks, not out on the board, but back in the day when you had to carry pails of water to go water the plants. Sam was instrumental in getting a water spigot at Gargiola and also at Allen Bates. So that's very valuable. And I served on the Historic Commission for about 6 years and I attended a lot of city council meetings. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to try and answer them. Anyone?
Yes, I have a question. We have a lot of codes and ordinances in our city that have been written over the last 20 years. Some of them
Yes.
go to TML and they're certified. I think the biggest challenge I've had recently is to have an open discussion with you as you were mayor about the codes and ordinances pertaining to the soccer field. And I kept asking you in council meetings to discuss this. Many times you told me to be quiet or leave the room. How do you feel you can add your experience to the council to finally discuss and talk about the ordinances that pertain to?
Well, actually, we have talked about quite a few of the ordinances tonight. When Javi was looking up the impervious cover, I already knew the answer. It was 50%. And when it came to the soccer field, some of the rules, and you and I had discussed them privately and in meetings about how the rules changed when they were FEMA lands. And so we had discussed those, like I say, you and I together. You have discussed them with our attorney. He had given a ruling about them. And so I'm happy to discuss ordinances anytime. And during the 4 years, we've done dark sky, we've done the golf cart ordinance, we've done quite a few that have helped to make the town better.
Yes. People talked about their work background. I was just going to give you the opportunity to talk about your work.
Yeah, I'm retired from the city of San Marcos Public Library.
So you were a librarian?
No, I am not a librarian. I don't want to take away from librarians. I only have 2 years of college and librarians have master's degrees. I was a library assistant. But I really enjoyed it. And sometimes it pays to not be at the top because let me tell you, when you work in a library, the circulation desk and the information desk always have to be staffed. Well, the information desk where the librarians sit, that's whenever the library is open, and they had to work weekends. As a library assistant, I only worked Monday through Friday. I always had my weekends off.
I know there was a question, so we can ask questions.
Sure.
So I know that whenever we had the town hall meeting, your husband, like, he gloated about the fact that the first thing you did when you got into office was fire Harry. That was one of the accomplishments that happened. So will the public, like, ever, with it, with the transparency, like, I still don't even like know what was the total amount that was paid out as far as like legal fees and the after payment fees that encompass that whole firing.
And I might need help with this, but we did go into deliberations afterwards.
So that was mediation, whatever happens in mediation is confidential, non-disclosure. I will tell you this, I don't recall if the terms of the settlement were confidential. But I do know this, following mediation, the council was then presented with the settlement agreement. And the council ratified that settlement agreement. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Sonia, I think you were on the council at that time where that was approved. Now, again, whether or not that was a confidential settlement and has been disclosed, I don't remember. I don't remember. But if it was, and one of the things agreed to in mediation is that the terms would remain confidential, then they would have to remove.
When I was campaigning in 2021, a lot of citizens were concerned about Harry's performance. It wasn't something that was a campaign, something that I campaigned on. So after I was elected, we started looking into it. I'm really proud of our police staff now. They're very good. Under Tommy Ward, he has 2 officers that are just fantastic. So I think city's doing really good in that department.
Anything else?
I have a question for the mayor. You say you're running you're attempting to run to replace the position for the grants. We know, do you know how much money has been spent so far on the city's liability side with regard to the grants?
Out to the homeowners, you mean?
No, that the city is now paid out through the engineer and Langford thus far, that in theory, if we were on the hook for the grant, how much would we be on the hook for?
Okay, so Langford in the budget was to get 500,000, $500,000. And the engineers were to get $750,000. So that was nearly spent. Now, the engineers still had to do the final, so they were both at about $500,000. Langford was pretty much done.
So the city has spent,
Langford can't be done.
Well, they probably would be, I would have to go, I don't have those
They're not
numbers.
even close to done. They have to do all of
The closeouts, yeah.
Which is not even until October, plus every single time that we are working on one of these eminent domain suits, they are heavily involved in that because they help get the figures and they're the ones coordinating with Betsy's office all the time. They're very busy and I don't think that will slow down. And then they speed up. They're the only ones working at the end.
So I believe we were at about $800,000, but it's.
So when you
give or
say
take a
done, you
little
mean
bit.
by the amount of money?
Well,
that
when
they
the
were
grant
allowed.
is done, the engineers in the budget were $750,000.
Okay, so you're saying they almost met that amount?
They've almost.
That's what you meant by done.
And they will
Yeah.
surpass it by the end, because they don't stop working when they run out of money. They have to work till the end of it. They can't just quit in the middle and go, well,
Right.
we maxed out, so see y'all, that's a nice road we might have. The other thing is now the engineers are also charging us for each one of the eminent domain suits that they have to testify in. So their prep and their time in court and all of that will be charged to the grant as well.
the grant is a milestone grant, which basically means they only get paid once they achieve a certain milestone. The amount of hours that it takes to achieve the milestone is irrelevant. The pay is dependent upon the work performed in a certain cycle. So once they do X amount of work, and I'm ignorant as to the standard. All I know is the last PIR that was done by my neighbor, I saw a copy of it, that the city has spent just over $1 million so far, between roughly just over 500,000 for both the engineer and Langford at the time. And that was as of about 2 or 3 weeks ago. And the city has also now spent in matching funds over $100,000. So the city has spent over $100,000 on the project already. We have $100,000 investment. And then we're potentially on the hook for $1 million.
But even with those milestones, those hours are not free. Those will just have to come out of different pockets. The money will have to be moved around or come out of the local budget. If they don't stop working, it's because of that. When they have hit major problems and it delays attaining those milestones, they don't just work for free. That's just not how grants work. But I can appreciate the thoughts. Did you have other questions though? You said you had a bunch of questions. Okay. Let's see, Jennifer Crack.
Oh. Well, originally I'm Jennifer Crabb. Nice to meet you all. And everyone that I've met on the council before has been very kind to me, which I appreciate because I never thought I would be doing anything like this ever. So thank you for the opportunity. I work on the Parks and Recreations Board right now. And so that would be something I wouldn't do if I did this. But I think the biggest thing for me is I came from the Air Force. I've lived here, let me go back. I've lived here now since 2016. And I kind of live across from Hermanos Taqueria and Bakery. And I started up, I love that property. I went back on there and beautiful big shade trees, right? And these buildings and this, I don't know, I just love the silos. I came over here and I was like, I just love this little town because it reminded me of green, honestly. And have you guys gone down? I like that place. And it's very natural and it's so inviting. Like there's something really neat about it. It brings in some revenue, but it feels secluded, but yet you're very conveniently located to all this cool stuff. And I always thought Martindale is the next green. Like I could just picture that. But then I realized, I don't know, because it seems like they may be wanting less of that feel and a more of a seclusion and less of the convenience of things. But I think if we could move those two together, because there's so many more people today that we have in the US than we've had in past years, and we have to accommodate those new people. And I like people a lot. I'm a people person. And so I think there's so much more growth and things that we can do to improve all the different departments, including infrastructure, including our ability to have outreach, right? To help people to get within the community and to speak for people, right? We want to speak for our people. Some people just don't want to talk about things, or they're just not able to, or there's a multitude of things. But I spent a long time helping veterans. That was something that was a very big passion. I was in the Air Force. I got my bachelor's degree in science and dental assisting. And so I taught dental assisting, and it was very exciting and challenging. Very smart people. I don't know if you guys have ever been in the military, but a lot of times we'll have people maybe in different fields, and then they come into your field, and so they're very highly trained or highly educated, and then all of a sudden they decide to go in cross. It's called cross training. So they say they go into your classroom, and they're these super talented people, like many of the people that are trying to do this position, just like me. Full respect. And I'm sure there's going to be a big turnaround. So keep in mind, if I don't get this position, there's probably another one right around the corner. And so I think that's important to keep in mind. And I think people here will be more into that. And I'm sorry I squirreled off, but that's kind of what I do sometimes. I apologize for that. But I just want to say that these people were very talented and they were in the dental field. And it was just so neat for me to be able to teach and something new that they'd never done before. So it's like taking a person off the street and saying, hey, by the way, do you want to become dental? I can help you. Come on. You know, and then we would just start doing that. And so it's I know that you're medical too. There's a lot of people with a lot of different talents, skills, abilities. That's so important because I think of the sustainability of a community. I'm a community person. And so I get so excited. I get so excited about just encouraging, inspiring, motivating people. And I was a super host at one point at Airbnb too, as well. And so I love that aspect too. You're meeting people, you're hosting for people, you're serving. And that would be my job, folks. Serve y'all. So when you have to speak, you know, I'm listening. I'm listening. Thank you. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Jennifer? Sorry.
Hey. Yes, sir. What is it?
You're involved in a lot of command inspections.
I went off the cuff. I apologize. Sometimes it's late. I know that's not an excuse.
Okay.
But I did a lot of audits. I did a lot. I'm a writer. I wrote a book, and Rich Return, Homesteading Bible. But I did a lot of inspections, and my job in the military after I did the dental assisting, after you get a lot of jobs in the military, but after I did assisting, after I did instructing, and then I went into audit, writing curriculum. So I wrote like all the new for Joint Base San Antonio. I had to combine all the different, Army, Navy, Marines, and Air Force, and I had to write curriculum for all of them so that each of the different branches could teach dental and it would all be continuity, right? All the same. And so it was tough at that time because it was just starting out. But then I had to start auditing every department. And that was challenging, my friends, very challenging, but I'm very organized. So I take a lot of notes. Basically what happened was I would go into an area and they would say, this is our area for preventive dentistry, okay, something like that. And I'd have to go in and it would be like a binder and a computer or something, right? And I'd be like, is this what, and the doctors, yes, this is what you have to work with. And so I would like completely revamp that whole situation, and they didn't like it so much. But when it was done, it was spectacular. No, actually, it was really neat because during audits, it would really help in their AAA HC inspections, in their HHS any inspection worthy HSI, right? All of those inspections would really help and give us 5s. And so, and it was really fun to see the changes, but it was really tough. I hope that answers your very lovely question.
This is the challenge. Okay, the last candidate is Jan Bunker, and she was going to be on Zoom. Javi was just checking. Jan?
Oh, wait, yes, my bad. I see it.
Jan, do you want to make a statement to us? You have to unmute yourself, or Javi has to tell you to unmute.
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
No?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, I couldn't hear.
You're good to go, Jen.
Okay, thank you. Yes, my name is Jan Bunker. Do you want to put me on video or what?
Oh, yes, please. Get her little face up here for us.
Me? Hello. Long time no see, a lot of you. And I know most of you already know me, those that are going to be voting tonight. I really don't have too much to add. I have a degree in computer science and a master's in education technology. So my background is mainly technical. One of the main reasons I think I even ran for city council in the beginning was for communication and transparency between the city and the citizens of Martindale. But the main thing that I kind of want y'all to know is, you know, I'm just kind of here for the interim. I don't plan on making city council my career, and I'm not running again. But I kind of was requested to go ahead and put my application in. And my concerns are just like everybody else. We've got, you know, stay on the budget, increase sewage capacity, and of course, the roads, the one I rode on. Anyway, one thing that I kind of want to let you know that, and most of you probably know me and have opinions on me, but I feel like I'm level-headed and I'm fair, and I'm just here for the interim. If you think I could be helpful, I would be honored. That's all I have to say about that.
Anybody have questions for Jan? Yes, ma'am.
How do you spell road?
ROAD. That's why I said I rode on the road.
Any others? They saved the hardest question for you, Jan.
I know. Thanks for pointing that out, baby.
I would like to ask
Too
Jen a
bad.
question. I was on council with Jen, and, I'm the call that requested her. Just because like I said, like the feeling of like hope, like not having hope, Jen has been my hope. Like, she was my hope on council, and she was always fair. She was always level-headed. She, identified like, something that was going on, and she initiated a process like to just find a solution. She not only, you know, discussed problems, but she had solutions. So Jan, I wanted to ask you about what initiated you to kind of revamp and take over the whole webpage?
Well, mainly because I think the transparency and communication, it starts kind of with the web. You know, that's the base where people can go to find information or try to find information, and to be able to communicate with the staff and the council. So.
Thank you, Jan.
Anything else? All right. Thank you, Jan.
Thanks, Jan.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. It's not past my bedtime.
So that was all of our 5 candidates. And so council, it's up to you now, whether you want to discuss or make a motion, or what do you want to do with it? information.
Well, Mayor, you did write on the agenda possible action. Is there a reasoning behind saying action or possible action? Do you feel like this is something that we should make a decision about tonight, or do you?
I have,
No comment, or
I
I
have
was
no
just curious.
opinion. I thought possible action leaves it open if y'all want to deliberate on your own minds and weigh it out, come back next time and vote, or do you want to vote tonight? Yeah, whatever you want to do. Up to you.
No one's gonna make a motion? No one's.
I make a motion to nominate Mari for the place 3 position. Is there anyone else?
Anybody?
I'll second that.
Second that? All right, open for discussion. Anybody want to discuss? Questions, comments, thoughts, concerns from the council?
Uh-oh. This is another stand down.
That's his chair. That's his chair. I keep telling him.
I hear Matt's chair.
It sounds like a cat.
It's saying I.
Okay, if there's no other discussion on that motion, the motion fails. Do I hear any other motions?
Wait, there was a second.
I gotta call the vote before we can fail. I thought not, really?
Yeah.
All right, I apologize, y'all.
It's okay, it's really late.
We're learning together. So, all right then. I would like to call a vote. Sam,
Yes.
Mike,
Nay.
Matthew,
Nay.
Terry.
Yes.
It's a tie.
Well.
Yes. All right, done. Next, we have to finish,
Mayoral race.
we have to finish this whole entire thing by 11:30 or I'll die and the Zoom will cut off because we've never been on past 11:30. So
Yes.
he's got to be sworn in right now. Here's our judge. Judge.
You'll pick the one with the hardest name.
Just say Domingo.
And
I wanna get
him too.
Oh, that's, no, not yet. We didn't nominate him yet.
Right.
Okay,
Is that tonight too?
yeah.
Okay.
It's like in 2 more
Councilman,
items.
come on over here, buddy. Let me get your name. I don't want to cut it down to Domingo. I want to give it a good shot.
All right.
All right.
Get out of your shop.
Yeah, we have to take a picture. I have a camera.
Good. Here's how we'll do it. I'm gonna have you state your name and then I'll have to say it.
Legal name?
Please.
Legal name.
Legal name.
I want to sound nice. Okay.
Legal name.
Everybody ready? Raise your right hand for me, please. I state your name.
I, Edward Maurice Demongeau,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I'll faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the duties of office,
the duties of office,
council member, place 3 of the city of Martindale,
council member, place 3 of the city of Martindale,
of the great state of Texas, even though you're from Louisiana.
of the great state of Texas, even though my ancestors are from Louisiana.
Well, that's how you're first generation. Thank you. And to the best of my ability,
And to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution and laws
the Constitution and laws
of these United States
of these United
and
States
of this great state.
and of this great state.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thanks for serving. Include name it since I
Let's
didn't
have
spell
a
it.
party. Let's have a drink. It's so late. Now can we go home?
Almost.
We're not done yet.
Oh.
Almost.
Okay. I want to make a motion to appoint Mayor Pro Tem Matthew McGovern.
Do I hear a
We have
second?
anybody, no, hey, we're like in city
We're
council.
lacking city council. We didn't do
We
nothing.
can't have a way,
yet.
so they had room to work, so.
Okay, I gotta repeat it.
Yeah, sit down, sit in. Throw a little thing.
Get in there.
Have a seat.
Okay, I make a
Pass the
motion,
empty thing down.
making a motion to appoint a mayor pro tem. I would nominate, Matthew McGovern.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, was I supposed to do? I was supposed to do. Any discussion?
I think you can rush through it with some.
Okay, then in that case, unless anyone objects, we're, what?
The ayes, the ayes have it.
The ayes have it.
Thank you.
All right, next, planning and zoning. Do we have a motion for, a nomination for planning and zoning commission? Chairperson?
You can even go couple, you can appoint a chair and vice chair.
Okay, how about a vice chair and a chair?
May I make a motion to
Please do.
continue, Abbott Costello, Mike and Sam as the chair and co-chair of the P and Z committee?
Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
Is there any discussion? Okay, then hearing no discussion, is there anyone who disagrees? Objects? Okay,
We're all good.
then we're good. Congratulations, Mike and Sam. Done.
Thank you.
Okay, number 30.6, discussion of the resolution for the grant transition plan. Council will discuss a resolution to ensure a smooth transition of city managed grants. Discussion will reference statutory responsibilities under the ordinance 31.01B1 regarding the mayor's role as chief executive officer. Anyone?
So we skipped 3.5, we went to 3.6, right?
Oh, yeah, we did. We're going back. I made too many checks.
I hate to be,
Wait.
No, we got it back up. 'Cause we
Okay.
didn't go in order.
Okay.
Okay, so discussion and action, confirmation of interim city administrator appointment. Council will vote on the mayor's recommendation to appoint Javier Milan. Do you do a Milan? Milan.
Yeah.
Milan.
Like
No,
14.
I'll look at you, I'll look at it. As interim city administrator under ordinance 31.02 and the Texas Local Government Code 22.010 and 22.071.
I hate to be a spoiler here, but on our original, table, the agenda for, May 12th,
Mhm,
which you made a motion to table,
mhm.
we need to really
You
take
can't.
that 3.7 with the original agenda.
Nope. I'm sorry, sir.
Can I just finish, please? Motion to accept the appointment of the council person to perform the duties of the city administrator.
Right. We are not doing that. If you see, it does not appear on here
Well-
because when there is, first of all, and second of all, there is absolutely no legal authority that says that the item needs to appear exactly as it was written on the following agenda, none. And also, the next thing is, it is not up to y'all. You do not get to decide. You can either approve or deny
But-
the I motion, but you cannot,
Can I speak, please?
no, sir, you
Can I
cannot.
speak? Can I speak?
No,
Yeah.
excuse me, let me finish and then I'll be calling you.
I'm sorry.
So the way that it works, under these ordinances, under these codes, first, there's no reason that we are obligated to bring that back up. And second of all, if we do bring it back up, there's nothing that obligates us to have to do it in the same way it appeared on the first agenda. There is no obligation to have it be the same rules or the same discussion and action. And the point is to fill the position, in which case, number one, your thing was illegitimate, your motion, because you cannot appoint a current city council to be in a position that reports to city
I need to
council.
get to that part of the discussion.
And number two, when there's a vacancy in the office, the mayor appoints and the council can confirm or deny. You don't get to decide first. That's the
Can I
law.
speak, Mayor?
Yeah, now you may. Go ahead.
You know, am I correct, Terry, when we decided to table, if the first, because we were wanting to hear people, hear the candidates to apply for the vacant position, when we tabled it for that first agenda.
Yes, you did.
And
You don't need-
I look at it, can you chime in, Ms. Bud, on this? I mean, we agreed to table it based on 3.7.
Yeah, Mayor, I can chime in. So two things. I think you both said something correct. When an item is tabled, it's my opinion that it needs to be placed back on the agenda verbatim,
Mhm.
okay?
That's not the law.
No,
That is not the law.
Well, that's not accurate at all. But,
It is.
no, it's not. But
Show me the law.
it's not accurate. Now, here's the
You
next
need to
point.
show me the law.
Here's the next point, it's not accurate. Now, what I'll tell you is, you are correct that you do have the authority, like I said earlier tonight, to make an appointment at any time. The council can consider this appointment tonight because you've got the authority to put that on the agenda. In the past, what the city has done is it has assigned duties to different council members. That's something.
That was different.
Right.
Legally, that's not the same. That was an exception. It was done by resolution because of the financial status, and they had to fire everyone.
Correct. And what you can do is you can even, I think in the past, the city had the mayor fulfill the role of city manager, and fulfill those duties.
But that was under a certain thing. You
Right.
show me the law that says,
Right, there's
quote it for me,
there's nothing.
find it for me. Give me the law that says I need to put it back on verbatim.
Because you're talking about Robert's rules. of order.
No, it's not in Robert's rules.
When
It is not in
when-
any place.
when
I
you
guarantee it.
When you table an item,
Take me to court. I'll
and
show you.
listen, I'm not that good for it. I'm bound to
You cannot find it.
It is my opinion that when an agenda item is tabled, that it has to be put back on.
That it should be.
No, it
Has to
has
means must. No.
Because,
Can't find anything to support
because
that.
what the council gets to do is the council gets to set its own agenda. Now, you are absolutely within your rights as mayor to put agenda item 3.5 on the agenda and make an appointment. And the council has the discretion to accept or reject that, and whatever it decides to do tonight, that's fine. If the council tonight decides to accept the appointment and approve it, then I would think that that would generally render the issue moot. But as a matter of policy, I think it's important to note that the council does get to vote to set its agenda. And so when the council as a body votes to say, we want X agenda item placed on the upcoming agenda, and that agenda item is altered or changed in some way, that is one individual or whoever it is, I don't know, because I don't take part in preparing agendas. That is someone changing what the council voted to do. And the governing body of the city is the body that decides how the city operates.
And in the
Consistent
lack
with law.
of any resident, any ordinance or resolution by the local government, I mean, us, that says how that's supposed to work, the agenda setting thing, then there isn't one. In that event, our procedure historically in this city has been that the mayor pro tem, or the city administrator, and whatever office staff decide.
I think you're right, but the caveat is, when the council votes and says, we are voting as the governing body to place this agenda item on the agenda, then there is no one has discretion to ignore the vote of the city council to place an agenda item on the agenda. That doesn't mean that you can't place something else on the agenda in addition to that would supplement or somewhat be different to that. You have every right as the mayor, to place an item on the agenda. But I'm not gonna back off the point that when the council votes as a governing body and says, we're gonna table this item, but at the next meeting, we as the council have voted to place this agenda item on the agenda, that item needs to go on the agenda.
Let me just say one thing about this, though. When this agenda item that we're discussing now was not written by the council, this agenda item was written by Mayor Glaze. The Mayor Glaze and our Mayor Pro Tem, who says that he just signed it. The council had nothing to do with writing this agenda that we are still going over and discussing weeks after it was originally written by Mayor Glaze.
And in
As a
fact, in
city-
the
I get it.
In
I
the
had
email, she
nothing
said
to
she
do
was out of
with
the
that
state, so
agenda.
she did not
Look,
plan it in conjunction with anyone, and it wasn't part of my administration.
maybe not, I don't know what she is, but what I'll say is Gary and Matt and Mike, three members of this governing body voted to place the agenda item back on the agenda. And when the governing body votes with a majority vote to create an agenda item, they are entitled to have that agenda item on the agenda.
I would like you to find that in the law, but in the meantime, I will throw you this bone.
Wait a minute, I want you to listen to what was just said. We basically said is if the council wants to put something in the agenda, the mayor basically can tell us, no, I can put whatever I want on the agenda. That's not the way it works. If
Oh
the
my God,
council-
that's exactly
if
the
the
way it goes. I
council-
have emails for
if the
6 months
council-
begging to have issues brought up, so does Sam. But regardless of that, let me offer my.
Let me finish what I'm saying.
No, sir.
Let
Let me finish
No,
telling
you
you.
interrupted me, honey.
I
It was the
know,
other way
honey,
around.
because I didn't authorize you
It
to
was the
speak.
other way around. You interrupted me.
I didn't authorize you to speak. Did you ask my permission?
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely.
Thank you. So anyways, what I will do is I'm happy to put it on next week's agenda. The next time's agenda.
Well, I think you can proceed with this agenda item tonight, if.
I will, but I'm just saying, I am happy to put it back on verbatim, next time's agenda. And in my research, I will tell you, there is a caveat that I was trying to avoid having happen that would actually be a disservice to Matthew. But that is fine. I am not gonna fight all night to do something that would actually serve him better. But y'all do your own research and figure out what that is, and then tell me whether or not you want it on the agenda. So I'm happy to put it on next.
I just wanted the agenda, I sent you an email asking.
And I told you that I didn't see it because the planning and zoning people didn't have an agenda. We didn't find out till 3 p.m. We made their agenda for them, and by the time we finished our agenda, it was 7:30 when I got home, and I had not checked my email the whole afternoon.
Well, according to what Kent's saying, we have the authority to do this.
And I told you that I would put it on for next time's agenda. and you can vote.
We requested to be put on this agenda.
And it isn't, and you cannot. You cannot vote on something that does not appear on the agenda.
Correct. You know, no, Mayor, you're correct. It is not on the agenda, and you cannot vote on something that is not on this agenda. That's absolutely correct. If the council wants to insist that the agenda item be placed on the next agenda, it can certainly do that.
And I'm offering that that's fine.
Okay.
However the council wants to do it, but there's an agenda item on the agenda tonight. And the council can proceed with that and vote how it will.
Which, with the 3-7, which agenda?
Correct.
Which one?
Oh, 3-5.
I thought about the one for the first city council.
It's not on the agenda tonight, and so no action can be taken on an agenda item that hasn't been properly noticed. It would have to be on the agenda, posted 72 hours before the meeting, so that the public had notice of that agenda item.
Mr. McGovern requested it by email.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
If it's not on the agenda, you can't act.
Okay.
Mike, wait to finish.
Okay, all right, I'm done. Okay.
All right, so you can do whatever you want with it, but I am nominating, Javier to be the interim city administrator. And, you can decide to, support that or not to. It's up to you.
I totally support that because I thought that that's what
Come on,
we're
come on.
talking about.
Just a quick announcement. We did not expect to get past 11:30 PM tonight. However, the Zoom meeting is shutting at 11:30 PM. I just making a loud announcement for not only the people on Zoom, but for us. When the time hits 11:30, please, let's just remain silent till I can get the Zoom back going. If we can wrap up at 11:30, that'd be great, but I know that's probably not it. So just let's remain silent at 11:30. Okay, and people on Zoom, please just log back in using the same link. Give it about 2 minutes. That's how much it's probably gonna take me to change the settings to extend the time on the Zoom link. Yeah.
All right. So back to this. Yes?
This is 3-5. You made a motion.
No,
Sam?
someone's making a motion.
All right. I will make a motion to confirm Javier Millan as interim city administrator.
Second,
I'll second that.
discussion about Javier?
Yeah, I would make discussion. Javier was under the guidance of Jared. And we don't have Jared anymore. And he did a lot of input. They worked really well together. And Adrian, our previous one, was a really good team, okay? With Jared's experience, he would work with Javier to help him along. So I think we're putting a lot on the young man to do this as a city manager. I mean, administrator, excuse me, and then Mr. McGovern has a lot of experience with budgets. He knows the grants, he knows everything, and I think it would be a great team, and let me say, I'm talking about an interim, we're gonna have to hire a city.
No, I got you. Yeah, interim.
An
Yep.
interim. This is just
Yep.
strictly temporary until we hire another
Correct.
city administrator. That's my concern, and you had that process that worked, you know. Like I was very instrumental in helping him with his plan and zoning. Usually, I was more involved with this meeting with the developer, because usually Jared's involved, so I was involved heavily, because I got experience in real estate.
Yeah.
So I helped the young man, we worked together as a team.
No, I think we're lucky that Javier and Jared overlap. There's
Correct.
continuity there.
Correct.
It's an interim appointment.
Yeah, exactly.
I think
So
we're
I think
we're all on the same page.
So I think it's gonna help, I mean.
I do
what's your
too.
opinion, young man?
Am I okay to speak or?
Yeah, you can speak. I
Okay.
think so.
So
Speak.
the mindset I have with the position right now, and I'm gonna go really fast. Mindset I have with the position right now is that it is gonna be an interim position. Don't really plan on being a full-time person. The way I also see it is that I'm gonna be in the area for one more year. My position, my MPA program ends in next May. So that's.
Your master's of
yeah.
public administration?
Yeah, my master's in public administration at Texas State ends in May. I'll get my master's in May. I don't know what's gonna happen after that. So again, y'all have me for about a year. In regards to the interim role, I picture it, I have somewhat of a contract typed up, again, very new to me. 180 days, 60-day mark, the city and I get into conversations about, okay, what's the next step? You want me to be a full-time? I'm also way open to finding a full-time city administrator that I could also learn from as well. That's what I have right now. If y'all want to put in the agreement of it, of how long the interim role is going to be and when the city needs to start looking for a full-time, open to that as well.
Like, I guess my concern would be, you're going to school right now, so you strictly work part-time.
So
You
with
know,
that being said,
I mean, we need somebody here for the nuts and bolts, you know, there could be a gap there.
But
So with
Jared
that being
was
said,
there.
So Jared's gone.
Was it one day?
it was a one-day thing, and I did learn a lot from Jared. There was a lot of, we worked pretty well together, we helped each other out when need be. But again, 3 days a week. I'm here 3 days a week, and I'm pretty sure council has seen me here 3 days a week as well. Again, I'm way open to finding a full-time city administrator to help the city, and so that I can learn from said person. So that's that, but 11:22, y'all, so.
Any other questions, comments, thoughts, or concerns?
Was here, was, if I'm not wrong, one day a week.
Yeah.
But he was in contact, you know, by email, phone call, so he was interacting.
Yeah.
And then he also ran the city council meeting, so.
My point is that he'll be here 3 days and Darren will be here.
Good point. All right. Anyone want to make a motion? No. Anyone want to vote?
We've made a motion and I second it.
So does anyone want to vote on this?
We do.
Hello?
I will call the vote. Hello. All right, Maury,
Yay.
Terry,
No.
Matt,
No, not this. Nay.
Sam?
Yes.
All right, 2-3, the nays have it, and moving on. Let's see, set 3.7 and 3.8, were items that the, attorney said we probably should just, hold off on until the next meeting. Go ahead.
Three seven was envisioned, Jared's curious temporary bar card I'm leaving. I think there's no use for that anymore, and so I would suggest letting that die.
Yeah.
I think on 3.8, it's too late to get into that, that's for you guys to decide.
All right then, 3.9, acceptance of city attorney resignation. Sir, go right ahead.
Whatever.
6 minutes.
Six minutes to get you out. I mean, I thought about it on the way over here for a few days, and if there's one thing I can leave you with, it's, I love you guys. It's been almost 8 years, and tomorrow morning I'll get up and I'll go watch my girls run track. And that's the most important thing I'll ever do in this life, is be a husband and a father. And the demands of my personal life are such that I can't do you guys justice anymore. Doesn't mean I didn't love my time here. Doesn't mean I won't miss this place. Doesn't mean I don't love you guys, I do. So many great things, and looking around the room, and the one thing that struck me tonight is seeing Miss Harper, who was my high school science teacher.
No way.
In the middle of a meeting that was about contentious things. I think she's been the only one here at every meeting for almost 8 years, and she plugged on about the library and public service, and she didn't have anything to say about who was appointed, because she's got her agenda items, and she's got a servant's heart, as do so many people in this room.
You've been here longer than me.
I have been here
I'm going
longer
on
than
7. I've been here 6.
but you all do. It manifests itself in different ways. A lot of good stuff in this room. I thank you for the privilege of serving you for these years. Thank you for the privilege of friendship, love, and kindness. For all the good times that I'll look back on, and I'll say, I got to be Martindale's attorney for almost 8 years. Go do great things, love each other, take care of one another. You two do big things because y'all are great. Y'all are going to do wonderful things in this world. You transformed the town.
I will say he did.
He did.
Carlton did.
You're a fighter.
Me?
You're my buddy. You are. You're all great. And I wish I could go around the room and say wonderful things about each of you, but tonight is the last night, and tomorrow morning when you wake up, think of me standing around the track watching 13-year-old girls run a lot faster than I can, and being happy. But no, when the next meeting pops up, I'll think about you and I'll miss you.
Thank you for your professionalism and guided us along. Okay, yeah.
All right, Anybody got any for agenda items?
We have to make a motion.
You gotta accept me.
Oh,
I'll make a
I'm sorry,
motion-
you're right. I'm so sorry.
I'll make a motion to accept the city attorney's resignation.
Today.
Immediately.
Oh, effective June 5th, 2025 at 11:27.
I second.
Anyone? Hearing no objections?
I'll say aye.
Aye.
I'll miss you guys.
No, feel long road. Been a very long road.
We'll make a motion to,
Adjourn?
adjourn.
Adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Do you think I'm fair? I'm sorry.
Now, the only other thing was, do y'all want to meet on Thursday, July 3rd? Or, do you want
July
to move
3rd.
that regular meeting
I
to
think-
July 10th?
I think that was a great suggestion. Grace, can we bring that up in the next meeting and vote on it? So-
Yeah, yeah,
I made the
yeah,
motion.
absolutely.
Just,
We always go somewhere.
I agree with it. It's a great idea.
Oh, I
All right, well then, next time you will see whatever number that was, 3.7 in bright shining color. We will retype our thing to take comments at the end, unless people raise their hands and want to make a comment. Yes,
We only got 2 minutes.
Would you please put the logo in there?
I did. It's in pencil on my form. You can't see it, but you will. But you will.
Can I make a motion to adjourn 11:28, please?
Please do.
I'll second that.
We would love that.